Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for this important hearing and for the opportunity to share with you some of my thoughts regarding Fiscal Commission. I believe our debt and our fiscal trajectory pose an existential threat to America's future, and I think establishing a commission is our best chance of addressing it. And I say that based on my experience with a highly successful commission in Pennsylvania, which I would say was perhaps the most successful legislative effort that I've ever been part of. Now, I will acknowledge to those who've mentioned they're skeptical of commissions that many commissions do fail. They're right on that. But this is one that was very successful, and everyone associated with it believed that. So it was the Basic Education Funding Commission, established in 2014, and in this case, it was to address a decades-old problem that existed in Pennsylvania of how state dollars were divided among the 500 school districts there. It was bipartisan, bicameral, and it also included representatives of the governor's administration. The commission held hearings around the state for over a year, receiving testimony and input from all stakeholder groups, from experts, and even any member of the public who wanted to participate. It worked across 2 legislative sessions, and interestingly, also across 2 governors' administrations, first a Republican governor and then a Democrat. Recommendations were released unanimously by the commission members in June of 2015, and they were enacted into law in 2016. So in a relatively short period of time, this commission solved a really very difficult and what had previously been seen as sort of an unsolvable problem. Some factors that were critical to its success. There was broad bipartisan agreement in the legislature on the nature and scope of the problem. For a fiscal commission to work, both parties must believe that it's necessary. And that goes for leadership as well. If either party or the president opposes a fiscal commission, it just simply will not work. The right people were placed on the commission. They were members who had skin in the game, including the chairs and minority chairs of relevant committee. And by the way, just to correct the record slightly, I was not the chair of this commission. There were 2 capable co-chairs. I was a member as the chair of the Education Committee in the state Senate at that point. But I suggest that our fiscal commission here should include the chairs and ranking members of relevant committees, like the Budget Committee, the House Ways and Means Committee, Senate Finance Committee, and the Senate Budget Committee as well as speaker appointees, and I think members of the administration are critical as well. Third point of why the commission was successful. Everything was on the table, and all options were considered, and all opinions were welcomed. Fiscal Commission must be willing to consider all options. Democrats and Republicans alike are responsible for where we are. The debt has increased under the watch of both. So we all share responsibility and must consider options that we may not like. Final point, public engagement, public education was absolutely critical to the commission's success. And I would say it was perhaps the most important key to success of the commission and would be of the fiscal commission. We must, the job of the commission would be to convince the American public that debt will impact them directly and that change is necessary. This is done through a very transparent public process and at the same time amplifying the work of a debt commission with a corresponding public relations campaign, which is what occurred in Pennsylvania. We know it's tough work. There's no guarantee of success, but based on what happened in Pennsylvania and some other commissions, we know it can be done. We can change the trajectory. We can ensure the promise of America for future generations. And in my view, we have no other choice. Thank you, Mr. Chair.